and today we are gonna be replacing the valve cover gasket on this Jeep. As you can see, there is an oil leak at the back. This is relatively simple to do. Let's begin. Let's begin by disconnecting the cables, taking the cables out of the equation. To remove the coils, you will need one of these, and this is a T30. I don't know if you can see it right there, kind of rusted. That's what it is, T30. So before taking out the coils, I'm gonna go ahead and unscrew all the bolts that hold the valve cover. So we're gonna be using a number 8 to do that. We have a bunch of those. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, probably another one hidden over there, another one right there, this other one, but we have this one, we gotta take that out as well. There's another one down there, and I'm pretty sure there's another one playing hide and seek down there. So let's go ahead and start removing those. And inside here we have more. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4 inside. So let's go ahead and begin playing this game. This is what holds the plastic cover that goes on top of the engine, and basically you just kind of turn it, unscrew it, and then there is like a bolt kind that we need to remove as well. So place this in a secure place, make sure you don't lose it if you still have that cover. If not, well, I don't care, nobody cares, who cares? Have another one right here. You're supposed to have 4 of this. And of course you got this strap holding this cable, one on each side. You have one here and you have another one right here, somewhere right here. Okay, right here. So we're gonna go ahead and remove those. You can see this one was so bad that it came out super easily. Well, maybe it didn't come out, it just broke super easily. So let's see, that one is out. Okay, this one right here, I'm gonna replace it, so I just went ahead and cut the clip. So just if you decide to do it this way, just be careful, you don't wanna cut any cables inside. And I'm doing this only because I am replacing it with a new one. Okay, so this is out of the way. All this cable, everything is loose. Another one right here, right there, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Just gonna cut it, just because I'm planning on replacing those. These bolts, they get loose, but they won't go all the way out. So don't force it, don't pull it, just leave it where it is and keep loosening them all. This one right here, it's as well a number 8. Oops, almost dropped it. So that's what I'm gonna be using. Just be careful. Just be patient with it, don't rush it. This one, as you can see, is loose and it's not coming out. That's okay, it's the way it is. So let's keep doing the same. We have another one right here, we have another one right here, we have another one right here, and we have another one at the front. Let me just do the one at the front first. How easy it is. Really? There we go. Let's move to the ones at the back. Next, remember that plastic clip holding this harness cable? There is a bolt on the, yep, it's a bolt. It's a bolt and I need to remove it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this plastic out and then remove that bolt. That's on the same thing for that one right here at the end. It's a little bit dark. It's a lot dark, but there's another one right there. I am removing that clip. Basically, I'm just breaking it and place a new one once I put this back. So that's why you see me doing it this way. But if you are not planning on replacing it with a new one, just be careful. You don't want to break it. And here it is. And there is that bolt, that nut that I was mentioning. Again, we're gonna use a number 8. This one is super tight. Let's see how we can have access to it. I don't want to remove the whole intake just to take that out. If only I had a socket that is long enough, but I don't have it. That one right there, that's the one I'm gonna be removing right now. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the filter. I don't know if I need to do this, but just to have space. Okay, so this one is out, and we have another one like that at the back. Okay, so we got the plastic out. We're gonna keep removing that bolt. Almost out. Okay, it's out. Alright, so at this point we have all the bolts out, and what we need right now is to remove the hoses that are still connected to the valve cover. So let's go ahead and do that. We have one right here. We have this other one right here. Make sure this cable does not interfere with whatever you're doing. Before we remove the hoses, this cable it's kind of bothering me. This cable right here. I think we're gonna be able to do it without unplugging this cable, but I will have definitely more space if we remove this cable. This cable just has a plug down here. That's all we need to unplug it from here, and then we will have all this room to work without some cable in the middle. Let me see if I can remove it. Okay, let me show you something. When removing this plug from here, if you decide to remove it to avoid having this cable in the middle, just be careful with the plastic. It's all bad plastic, and since it's been running, back of the engine is super hot, the plastic crystallizes really fast. And look at this. This is cheap, bad quality plastic from Jeep, and this is what happened to me. I was not even using a single tool. It was just bare hand. I just push in here, that clip that the plug has. I just press it to pull the plug, and everything just broke in my hand, just like that. So be careful if you decide to move this cable and put it away. Just be careful with that. As I mentioned before, I'm gonna go ahead and start removing all the hoses, at least the ones that are in the middle, the ones that are connected to the valve cover. Right here we have one, and of course it's not gonna be easy. There we go. You can use something like this to pry that hose out. See? This is out. Put it aside. Let me move this one. There we go. It would be easier if you remove it from here instead of up here. So this end is a lot easier. At this point, I think I'm gonna go ahead and remove the coils. You just pull them up just like that, and it will be a good time to take a look at the spark plugs and at the end of the coil right there. See? That one right there, the last one, is super bad. Looks like it has some oil leaks as well. Look, it drips some oil. Look how it looks. I'm glad I got those gaskets as well. Well, came in the kit, so they better put those together. I think it's time to lift the valve cover. Let's see what we find down here. The cover might be a little bit stuck, so you have to just wiggle it a little bit until it comes loose. It is crucial that you pay attention to all the bolts. At this point, I was trying to lift that cover and I still have one bolt that is holding it. This one down here at the end. That one. I still have to remove that one. I was trying to lift this cover. Of course, it was not gonna move. Alright, so I am removing this bolt right here. That's the last one, but as you can see, you have not that much of a space and I don't want to keep removing stuff, so I just went ahead and got this. It's an 8mm long socket, so this one will do the job a lot easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this from now on, as easy as it can be. It was a bit stuck, so just be careful when removing the cover for the first time. So now it would be a good time to inspect everything inside all this area right here. Make sure that everything looks fine. So as you can see, this car has a regular oil maintenance done. So as you can see, it's super clean. Everything is clean. There's not much to check in here. Looks good. All this are in good condition. So nothing major going on this car, besides that leak that was right here through the gasket. So that's why we're doing this. We're replacing the gasket to fix that oil leak. As you can see, this is the timing change right here, timing change, and it is pretty good. I mean, it looks good to me. If you're a mechanic and do you think that there is something else going on that I should be aware of, please let me know in the comments and I will be glad you did, so that way I can handle it. Back to the valve cover. Right here we have the oil gasket. We're gonna be removing this oil gasket right now. It was leaking oil, so it is time to replace it. It's the time to replace it, so we're gonna go ahead and change it. So let's take this out, and we're gonna be changing this too. I don't know if you remember, but at the beginning of the video, but this was leaking oil really bad. I'm gonna go ahead and change this as well. This gasket is so calcinated, it's bad, it's in bad shape. It looks good, but as you can see, when I'm pulling it out, it starts to break into pieces. It's really bad, really old. Look at this. Look at this. Well, I guess it was time to replace it. This car has about 180,000 miles on it, so I think this will fall into regular maintenance. Right here is the new gasket, as you can see, as you can imagine. To get the bolt through this O-ring right here, Make sure all you have to do is just hold it and push that bolt from the other side. That's all you have to do until the washer on the bolt came through the gasket, and then it has like a tab all around. It will hold it in place. You just have to push it, hold it from the other side, push it from this one, or vice versa, whatever comes easier to you. And as you can see it right there, it is in place. Like this one right here. You see that tab? The gasket has to sit right here. So basically what we are going to be doing is pushing the gasket through this, and then that tab will hold the gasket in place. You see it? Now the gasket, it's holding the bolt, so it's going nowhere. And we're gonna be doing the same thing with the outside the gasket. Right now I have the gasket in place, so I'm gonna repeat the same process, same thing that I did with this bolt. So basically I'm just gonna push the bolt and hold the gasket until the that washer with the tab came through the gasket, and that will hold the gasket in place. It is relatively easy to do. I don't know if you can hear how it clicks. This one definitely is being easier than the one in the center. Okay, I'm missing some bolts. Let me go ahead and get those. And I kind of cleaned them since they disconnect from the cover. Let's get this one. Same thing. Make sure that ring on the bolt is still good. If not, then I will suggest that you buy a new one. I almost put it upside down. Okay, I was missing one bolt. I got it back. There we go. So all the bolts in place. Make sure to double check everything, and let's go back to the engine. You would use some kind of silicone right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean it real good. I have some spot like this one. I have another one down here, and I believe so. I'm gonna go ahead and use this blade to clean that as much as possible. Be careful, you don't want to damage anything. I just want to get rid of that, all the silicone, and make it as flat as possible. That's what I'm gonna be doing right now. And be careful, you don't want that to drop into your engine bay. I mean inside the engine, inside the block. So right now it is the time to place the valve cover back to the engine. Let me just go ahead and make sure I don't have anything in the middle. That's my cover with the gasket, all the bolts in place. Let's go ahead and put it back. Basically right now what I'm doing is I'm securing only one bolt right there and another one at the end, so that way I make sure everything is in place, the gasket is correctly placed and everything is aligned. Seems to be in perfect alignment, so let's go ahead and start screwing those bolts. Okay, so the way you want to do this is in a cross pattern, so I'm gonna go like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 cucaramácara títere fue 1 2 y 3 y se acabó. Let's see what happens. Even though I'm using this, I am not putting any tension on those bolts. I'm gonna do it by hand. Okay, now that I have all those bolts secure in place, I'm gonna go ahead and repeat the whole thing. Make sure you go crossing the bolts, the ones at the outside and the ones on the inside, but I'm gonna do it by hand right now. You want to be very careful with this. You don't want to damage any bolt, you don't want to break anything, especially this is plastic, and as you can see, this is Jeep, so that means the plastic is crap, so make sure you don't break it. The torque, I really don't know what it is. I'm gonna apply around 15 pounds, 11 to 15 pounds per bolt. If you know exactly the torque that each one of these bolts requires, please leave it in the comment. Not only me, but everybody, I'm pretty sure, will appreciate this. Make sure to double check every single bolt, because you could easily forget just one of them and you will have an oil leak. Me, I just forgot that one right there and another one at the back. So it's very easy. It's a lot of bolts and it's very easy to forget one of those. After securing all those bolts, make sure everything is fine, everything is okay. Double check. This is the time. Reconnect your hoses. Put back your ignition coils. Secure them in place. Last one. And as you remember, this is a T30. This does not have to be super tight, just make sure it doesn't move, and that's it, that's more than enough. Again, be careful, you don't want to break it. If you break it, you're gonna be crying all day. And just like that, ignition coils are back in. Put the cables. It's easy to remember, as you can see, they only reach to where they belong, so not a brainer. Make sure they click. If you don't hear that click, they might become disconnected and then you will have ignition problems. And just like that, we have the ignition coils all connected, back in place, looking good so far. And if you did remove this cable, so now is the time to connect it back in here. And I believe I am not forgetting anything. Make sure to double check. This goes on top of this bolt that has that screw on it. This is for the cover that goes on top of the engine. If you still have it, go ahead and place it. If not, then it's not necessary anymore if you don't have that cover on your engine. I'm just gonna leave them in here because I do have my cover. It's just that I don't want to put it because for maintenance then I have to be taking that apart and So it's just unnecessary to have that. But if you like to have your engine cover so it looks good on the engine bay, so go ahead and put it back. This is the time to do that. You should have 4 of those. I only have 3, the other one went missing. And I will be securing those cables. You remember this one right here, this other one right here, and we have to secure this cable right here. But I'm gonna be doing that later on. Not gonna be doing it today. I just have to put some cover on that cable. It was all calcinated from the heat, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy a new one, place that back in. That is out of the scope of this video. This was just about replacing the valve cover gasket, job that it is already done.